They call it paradise. White sands stretch into turquoise waves. Sun-kissed islands glisten like scattered gems in the South China Sea. But hidden in the shadows of palm trees and postcard beaches are tombstones. Not just for the dead, but for the living. In the heart of Manila, families build homes among the graves. Children play tag between crosses. And some say the cemetery is safer than the streets outside. Just a few miles away, beauty pageants unfold like tropical fairy tales. Hundreds of women, confident, radiant, parade in bikinis, smiling for foreign eyes. To some, it's culture. To others, survival. And then, offshore, there's a tribe with a secret that sounds almost impossible. People who can dive deeper than Navy SEALs. Hold their breath for over 5 minutes. All thanks to a mutation that gives them something close to superpowers. But the wildest twist in paradise is still to come. Welcome to the Global Trail, where we blaze paths across our world. This is the Philippines like you've never seen it before. The Philippines isn't just a place. It's a contradiction wrapped in sunlight. More than 7,000 islands scattered like confetti across the sea. Volcanoes that boil lakes into dreams. Towns where karaoke never sleeps. And people who wear hardship like a second skin without ever losing their smile. Here, nature dazzles with lagoons so clear they seem unreal. But in the same breath, it warns with earthquakes, typhoons, and coconut trees that kill more people than sharks. Yes, coconuts. This is a land where tradition is sacred, family is everything, and every corner bursts with color, chaos, and quiet dignity. Yet beneath its beauty lie stories most travelers never hear. Of love traded for visas. Of homes built on tombstones. Of sea nomads whose bodies have evolved beyond science. We're not here just to admire the view. We're here to understand the soul. So grab your backpack and leave your assumptions behind. Because the Global Trail is about to take you through the most astonishing truths hidden in paradise. The women who worship tourists. They say love is blind. But in the Philippines, sometimes love wears a sun hat, carries a backpack, and speaks with a foreign accent. Walk through the streets of Manila or the beaches of Boracay, and you'll notice it, the glances. Filipino women looking laughing, leaning just a little closer when a Western tourist passes by. Is it admiration, curiosity, or something deeper? In a country where economic gaps are wide and opportunity isn't evenly spread, relationships can take on a different meaning. For some, a foreign partner means more than romance. It's a passport to a better life, a way out, a way forward. Entire industries have bloomed around this connection. From matchmaking agencies to Bikini Open's massive beauty contests where women strut with confidence and charm before an audience filled with cameras and foreign eyes. It's celebration and commerce culture and controversy all rolled into one. But here's the twist. These women aren't victims. They're often bold, strategic, and in full control of their narrative. Many see these connections as partnerships, mutual, intentional, and built on choice, not desperation. And then there's something else. Beyond the pageants and the promises, there's a warmth in how they smile, an ease in how they carry conversations, Filipinos are raised in a culture that values family hospitality and connection, and it shows. Still, the question lingers when admiration becomes expectation. Is it still love? Whatever your take, it's a reality woven into the fabric of life here. One that reveals more about global dreams and local truths than meets the eye. And just when you think you've seen it all, you stumble into a place where homes aren't made of wood or concrete, but of tombstones. Let's keep walking. People who live in Cemeteries' paradise has a dark side, and sometimes it sleeps among the dead. Just a few miles from glittering malls and five-star resorts, there's a different kind of neighborhood. Welcome to Manila North Cemetery, not just a resting place for the departed, but a home for the living. You might expect silence here. Instead, you'll hear children laughing, vendors calling out, roosters crowing from rooftop cages. Families cook meals next to mausoleums. Couples raise babies in crypts. At first glance, it feels surreal, like you've wandered onto a movie set. But this isn't fiction. It's survival. Most of the people here are informal settlers. They've been pushed out by poverty, high rent, and overcrowding. So they've made the cemetery their home. And strangely, it works. There's safety here, community, a quiet kind of order. Tombstones become benches, graves a place to rest your head. What shocks outsiders is how normal it all feels. Birthdays are celebrated. Children go to school. Even funerals happen with respectful pause before daily life resumes again. And yet, beneath the resilience is a quiet ache. No one wants to live among the dead. But when the city offers no other option, people make do. They build lives quite literally on top of death. Still, there's dignity here. A mother sweeping the marble floor of a crypt she calls her kitchen. A boy using a carved tomb as a study desk. It's a place of contradictions, solemn and vibrant, morbid and full of life. And that's the Philippines, where sorrow and joy often live side by side, like neighbors who've known each other for too long to fight. But if you think this is where the surprises end, wait until you meet the tribe that doesn't just live on the sea, they live in it. Let's dive deeper. The Sea Nomads with superpowers. Imagine holding your breath for 5 minutes. Now imagine doing it 70 feet underwater. While spearfishing, welcome to the world of the Bajau, the Sea Nomads of Southeast Asia. For centuries, the Bajau have lived almost entirely at sea. Their homes aren't houses, they're boats. Their streets are coral reefs, and their horizon just water and sky. They fish, they dive, they paddle. Not for sport, but survival. Some spend more time in the water than on land. It's said they learn to swim before they walk. But here's what makes them extraordinary. Science has shown that Bajau people have evolved. Literally, they possess larger spleens, around 50% bigger than average. That allows them to store more oxygen and stay underwater far longer than most humans. It's like nature gave them their own built-in scuba system. What's even wilder, this adaptation didn't take thousands of years. It may have happened in just a few dozen generations, proof of how tightly the Bajau are woven into the fabric of the ocean. But they aren't just biology textbooks come to life. They're a people rich in tradition. Weddings are held on floating platforms where the whole village builds a new home for the newlyweds. Festivals are filled with drums, dancing, and stories passed down in song. And yet this way of life is fading. Rising tides, vanishing fish stocks, modern borders that don't understand a people with no fixed land. The Bajau are caught between two worlds, one that floats and one that's trying to anchor them. Still, their spirit endures as fluid and resilient as the sea they call home. From living among tombstones to thriving above the waves, Life in the Philippines constantly reshapes our idea of what's possible. But there's more. Let's leave the sea behind and return to land. Because in the chaos of city streets and countryside karaoke, we'll find something just as powerful, the soul of a culture. Culture, chaos, and karaoke. If there's one thing you'll hear in the Philippines louder than traffic, louder than typhoons, it's a love song. Sung off key, at full volume, at 2 a.m. Because here, karaoke isn't just a pastime, it's a way of life. From mountain villages to Manila's back alleys, karaoke machines glow like street lamps. People rent them by the hour, the night, sometimes the whole weekend. Neighbors gather, strangers join in, and suddenly, you're singing a Whitney Houston ballad with a rice vendor and 2 tricycle drivers. But this isn't just about music, it's about connection. In a country where life is rarely easy, joy is a revolutionary act. And karaoke, it's free therapy with a mic. Zoom out, and you'll see a culture built on warmth, not the tropical kind, but the kind that makes strangers feel like cousins after 5 minutes. Respect is embedded in the language. You'll hear po and opo, soft, respectful particles tucked into every sentence. There's mano, a gesture where you take an elder's hand and touch it to your forehead, a small bow that says, "I honor you." Family isn't just important here, it's everything. Everyone has a nickname. Ate for big sister, kuya for big brother, used for blood relatives and anyone you care about. It's this spirit that binds people together in the markets, on the jeepneys, in the chaos of everyday life. It softens the noise, slows the hustle, reminds you that behind every face is a story worth hearing. And maybe that's the real beauty of the Philippines, not just in its islands or sunsets, but in its laughter, its lyrics, its unbreakable bond between hardship and happiness. But don't get too comfortable, because just when you think you've found your rhythm here, nature shows up with a surprise of its own. Next stop, whale sharks, killer coconuts, and volcanoes within lakes. Let's go. From whale sharks to killer coconuts. They say nature is the best storyteller, and in the Philippines, it's also the wildest. Start with the whale sharks. Gentle giants gliding through the waters of Cebu. The size of a bus, the heart of a poet. Swim beside them, and it feels like drifting next to a slow-moving cloud. With gills. But the Philippines doesn't stop at the ocean's edge. On land, the jungles of Palawan hide long-tailed macaques swinging through ancient trees. The air buzzes with life lizards, birds, and insects that look like they were designed by science fiction writers. And then, there are the coconuts. Yes, coconuts. Locals joke they're more dangerous than sharks, and they're not entirely wrong. With millions of trees across the islands and fruits weighing up to 3 kilos, falling coconuts are a real hazard. They've cracked more than just shells. In fact, statistically, you're more likely to be knocked out by a coconut here than bitten by anything venomous. And that's just the start of the surprises. Head to Taal Volcano, a volcanic island. Inside a lake. Inside another island. Yes, really. It's nature's version of a Russian nesting doll, complete with occasional eruptions. Then there's Bohol's chocolate hills over 1,000 mounds that turn brown in the dry season, looking like a landscape built for giants with a sweet tooth. Everything here feels exaggerated, surreal, like paradise got bored and started adding plot twists. But beneath the beauty is a warning. The Philippines sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire. Volcanoes, typhoons, earthquakes, they all leave their mark. The land is constantly shifting, yet the people remain grounded, resilient, rooted, ready for whatever tomorrow brings. This harmony between chaos and calm is what makes the Philippines unforgettable. It's not just a destination. It's an experience that humbles you and then invites you back for more. But before we wrap this journey, let's pause and reflect on what this paradise really means. So, what is the Philippines, really? Is it the blinding white beaches, the karaoke echoing through alleyways, the whale sharks, or the women dancing under neon lights? Maybe it's all of it. Maybe that's the point. This place doesn't offer you a neat postcard image. It hands you contradictions wrapped in color, chaos, and kindness. A woman who smiles while selling skewers beneath a billboard for luxury condos. A child who sleeps on a tombstone and still wakes up to play. You come for the paradise, but you stay in your heart for the paradox. Because nowhere else feels so alive with tension and tenderness all at once. It's beautiful, it's broken, it's bold enough to show you both. And that's what makes the Philippines unforgettable. Not just for the photos, but for the people who invite you in to sing, to eat, to belong. Even just for a moment. This isn't just a travel story. It's a mirror, reflecting what it means to be human in all our complexity, joy, and messiness. And at the end of the trail, that's the kind of paradise that stays with you. If you've made it this far, you're not just a traveler, you're a trailblazer. So tell us, would you walk through cemeteries to find beauty? Would you sing karaoke with strangers at midnight? Would you dive into seas where legends live? Drop your thoughts below, type adventure, if you'd blaze this trail with us. Or tell us, where should the global trail head next? What's your dream destination? Because if you love the contrasts of the Philippines, wait until you see the most underrated country in Central Africa. Click now to explore life in Angola, a land of mystery music and untold stories. Thanks for journeying with the Global Trail. See you on the next trail.